the Real Talk with Claudia Masagassi, Season 3, Episode 3. And I have the super duo. I'm like super excited, actually. I feel very special that I have the Montalvos here. So I have Gino Montalvo and Chris Montalvo. I actually surprised that I got Chris to sit down with me.
I'm gonna sit this way. It's so weird, like looking right at the camera. I'm gonna sit this way a little bit.
Everybody, well, I don't look at the camera that much actually.
So this makes it a little
bit.
But
you're gonna be looking at the camera, so that they know, like for real, like he's here.
This is definitely.
Is this AI?
And he even matched his shirt to like my art.
Well, you know, black's our color. Like we don't wear anything else besides black.
Well, I
know
that's a special occasion. That's your logo.
So, well, thank you for having us here. This is fun.
Yes, thank you for coming. I know you have been here before interviewing my kids.
Yeah, but I haven't actually been on it. I was going to ask that other day. I was like, hey, when am I going to be on it? Season 3?
You make me wait until what season?
Season 2, episode 1.
Okay, season 2.
Who was the first episode?
Of this one?
No,
Claudia's. Gerald.
And then
Gerald Flores.
What was yours first episode?
I don't remember.
Good question. Dang.
Who was my first?
Just episode?
Like
season
my
1.
First, like season 1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
it was her team.
It was my team.
That makes it easy.
Yeah, it was my team.
Well, podcasts are fun because you kind of just start grabbing people around you, and then after you talk to those people, it's like, who else can we talk to?
Okay, so has anybody actually stopped you and tell you like, "Hey, I see your podcast"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at the country club member party or whatever, and I was like just walking, grabbing food or whatever, and then this girl out of nowhere, she was like, oh, "You're Claudia," and I was like, "Yes," and he's like, "I saw your podcast," and I was like, "Oh, I can give you an autograph."
That's cool.
Well, that's what's fun about getting different type of guests is that you intrigue different people who maybe are like, I want to know more about that subject
stuff,
or that person or those people. And so, we're very thankful for being here because we have a big story. It's nice and fun.
Are you going after the popcorn, the popcorn guy? I want to bring the popcorn guy.
I think that guy, poor guy, he nothing's wrong. I just feel like I saw him one time and it was probably like the 5th time someone that day had asked him, put him on video, and the sparkle wasn't there anymore, man. Like they took it away from him. Like originally when he was being recorded, he was so excited about it. And I don't know the guy, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm just outside looking in.
But so you went to the movies and you saw him there and saw him to
and then I saw the other people too. Like everyone else that worked there was like on the, how do you say it? Everyone else that worked there was trying to do their own thing too. Like, oh, I can do the popcorn, and they're putting a little extra and they were going a little different. Before that video came out, everyone there was like, whatever, here. They never even put popcorn on.
I want to know how it went at the Oscars.
Like
that if he actually got all the attention and all.
I think so.
I just want to know if he.
It's like pre Celine Dion before they put her in Vegas.
Yeah.
Pre Shamu before they put her.
Yeah, like that. Like that,
Chris.
Hard
about the internet. Like, you know how the internet is. Like, you get famous for like a second, and then everyone's like,
and
what next?
Forget.
Yeah, you got to keep stuff up. Like, if you ever see these influencers.
What's that guy? Is that guy? The show.
Oh, yeah, the guy. There's the Aki Way.
The Aki Way, yeah.
And you have to ride those waves when you.
No.
Yeah, so this guy in New York, he works in a bodega. He goes all crazy when people walk up. They make like crazy sandwiches. So the sandwiches have like Pop-Tarts,
outlandish
cheese
sandwiches,
like
you can think of,
cheese sticks, Doritos, and they're like this thick, and they cut it up. And he does like these little catchphrases. But now you see him, and the video is just like, sure, like he's just not excited about it.
But no, people started like traveling all the way to Brooklyn just to have like his nasty sandwiches.
That's why you got to keep the show going.
So your first 5 minutes of fame was Chart Week.
Chart. Oh, he went the Australia thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That was fun. Well, that's okay. So the whole point I was trying to get at is that, like real estate, you can't just have like a one hit, like a one deal. You have to always be working,
keep doing it
to get the next deal, the next deal, the next marketing thing, the next thing to keep attention.
And keep
because if not, you're just that sad guy that one time had a show and it's like, oh, I remember that one.
And you know what? Somebody told me, one of my coaches told me one time. He's like, there's a lot of people that leave on the. Oh, I used to. Oh, I used to be, or I used to do,
like
or I used.
Oh, you mean like the realtors that had in their email signature, top realtor 2015?
Yes,
I'm like, why is it still in there?
Right. Like, I mean, I used to be that. I used to close. Yeah. Why do you?
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that.
I don't think I do. Honestly, I'm so old.
Do you just erase it?
I used to have the whole like top 1% and all that crap and the whole Wall Street
The top
Journal.
agent, all the ones you can buy.
Back when it
He
meant
doesn't
something
even
to my
freaking sell
ego.
houses now.
I know. I don't even remember the last time I had a buyer.
Have you seen a contract lately?
You know,
Just when
actually,
it sells stuff.
It's tax season, so
Oh no!
I got actually protesting all our taxes. So I'm actually doing a lot of the legwork.
Man, I think a lot of people are super pissed about that.
It's out of
freaking
control.
property taxes.
I think it's people that have never bought a property before. They're seeing these large numbers come in.
No, it's
and it's exciting.
loud.
Yeah, it's exceptionally. It's gone up quite a bit, but there's also people that aren't used to it and they don't realize, one, it's kind of like a tax on that equity you have, so you can still fight it, but they don't realize. They rather just complain about it. And I think that's what the city, and for anybody that's never fought taxes before, I think the city does that to see who's going to fight it and who's going to just roll over and just be like, sorry.
I'll pay it.
And you're supposed to fight it.
Those are good things. I mean, do you think that it happened? Because, I mean, you're going to agree with me, like, appreciation of the houses went crazy from, like, 2020 to 2021. Like,
I would say so.
It spiked up pretty significantly this year. Last year wasn't as bad. But, you know, I was reminded the other day that I freak out this time every year when the tax statements come out. So, you know, you just gotta pull your weight and go down there and protest your stuff. But they say 25% of the people in the city actually go and protest their stuff. The other 25%.
See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody else just complains on Facebook.
Oh, I had Rodney here. One of my episodes, I had the tax appraisal district here. Rodney
He'd
Canales.
be a good guest, yeah.
I had him. He came and we were talking about it, and then he's all like, "We don't raise your taxes like that's the city. You have to go and go to city council and all that." So that's what he was trying to say.
Spending all the money.
Yep.
So it's I don't understand when people like. I mean, I understand that you're gonna pay more taxes, but you also should be happy that your property values are going up.
Yeah, I had someone call me today.
That's appreciation.
Someone called me today and said, "Hey, can I sell it for this much?" I go, usually that assessed value is under what the market value is.
Yep.
In these cases, they're pretty spot on some of the new construction stuff.
Yeah.
On some of the new construction, it's pretty spot on to what the actual market value is.
I think you can have your cake and eat it too. At the end of the day, if you didn't protest your taxes and you allowed, the abuse to continue on, your stuff wouldn't cash flow. And I mean, there's stuff that I have that has gone up literally 2,000%. It makes absolutely no sense. And I don't know where they're getting their numbers, but just kind of getting off the subject.
Do you think it's because of the sale of the houses going up? Like what was happening when the rates were down and all people were offering more value for the properties, like over price to actually get the contracts? Everything's
been about a 3-year turnaround. So you would think if it was in lieu of COVID, everything would have spiked up last year, but it didn't. I don't know what's triggering this year. But this year especially is probably the highest spike. And mind you, I've gone down there and protested my stuff and some of my clients' stuff the past,
So you're just saying maybe the city has mayor spend
No, it's all over. Well, yeah, it's all over. It's all over Texas and that I know of.
Oh, and other cities
every
too.
Single county is
okay.
But it's like what I said. They're trying to get as much money as possible. They see a lot of new construction.
And whoever,
someone's got to pay.
Someone's got to pay.
Yeah.
So okay, well, let's circle back to why you're here. So I'm going to start with Chris.
Okay.
So Chris, you were like what, 12 when you became a broker?
A broker at 20, a realtor at 18, and
so you just got out of high school and you're like, I want to sell homes. How did that started?
I hated realtors. I still hate realtors.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry. Let's be honest.
I don't like realtors.
I grew up modest but poor, and I like nice things. My aunt had a real estate company growing up, and she would babysit me all the time. My parents worked all the time, and so I would hang out with my aunt and her best friend Claire. And Claire had another real estate brokerage in town. And my preconceived notion of what a real estate agent was Claire and my aunt driving around in a Lincoln Town Car, smoking these long, these long
Virginia Slims.
Cigar, yeah.
Claire's white plush carpet, and I don't think we've ever shown a house from what I recall. I just remember them taking me and having me barter at rummage sales and garage sales and antique stores, and so that was my notion of real estate. I hated it. And, I hated that they put me in those uncomfortable situations. Fast forward, I was in the work program. I've been working, since I was 15. So I kind of lost track and touch with my aunt. So I worked in the restaurant bar industry, and even one summer I did telemarketing for 2 months, and that was just insane. That talk about a mind buster. That
outbound or inbound?
Inbound and outbound. Outbound initially, and every sale you'd get an extra $1 on your paycheck.
Was it that one place on Ayers, just by chance? Because I remember there used to be like a big place over there by Ayers and Port or Baldwin.
It was Uptown in that black building. But I'll tell you, it was terrible. And, everybody would look forward to their smoke break. And mind you, I was 16. There was this lady that would bring these tacos and in the evening, and, you buy the taco, and everybody would look forward to their breaks. And so anyway, I, after getting beaten up mentally, just being around older people, I wanted to, I was chasing wealth. I met my wife when I was 16, but we went to different schools, and I wasn't focused on girls or any of that. I was focused on figuring out a way to just make money and I don't know, just chase the golden goose.
Right.
So long and short, I graduated early from high school in the work program, and I'd get out at my junior year. I would get out at 12 o'clock, and so the first semester I graduated, and then I started college, and I got in some trouble and wrecked my car and got kicked out. So I was 17, got kicked out. I was in the restaurant bar industry, and I was in college. I had some construction jobs, odd end stuff. I was never really good at construction. I still am not. But I don't know. I got mixed in with, a bad crowd, and long and short, I ended up, at a Denny's one night, alone, broke. I ran into my aunt. She was like, "Hey, Chris, you gotta get your license, get into real estate."
She came back in the picture.
Oh yeah. So I was like, I don't really know anything about real estate, but okay. So I was literally crashing on, a friend of mine's couch. I was working three different jobs, going to college. I was doing all this stuff and trying to get my real estate license. And I went through the fast track program. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I was a bar back on the weekends. So Friday night and Saturday night, I'd get out of work at like 4 a.m, and then I'd have the fast track real estate class literally 8 a.m. So it was practically killing me. I'd sleep through class, and the professor was my aunt's best friend. I'll never forget, I asked her if she thought I'd be successful one day, and the look on her face, the look she gave me was just like, Chris, if you put your mind to it, I think maybe.
He just woke up from a nap.
And I thought, did you seriously just say that? I was just
sleeping in my class, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I was deprived of
She's like, I haven't talked to you the whole 3 days, but okay, Chris.
Sure, buddy.
So after all that, everybody was super rude to me in class. I was one of the younger ones in there, but I made a friend, Trey, cool guy. Long and short, failing my exam 8 times later, finally get my license. I'm excited.
You took it 8 times.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And started working with my aunt, and I was gung-ho, ready to go. I'd show up, and the energy was just toxic. Everybody was just,
mad.
This is pre-internet, right?
Yeah, pre-internet. I had a guy build my computer and everything, but it was more for like gaming. I didn't know any better. I was like, I'll give you $1,000. You make this, awesome.
So pre-internet, how were you doing like listings and all that? How did they do all that?
Nobody wanted to teach me. We didn't have inbound calls. We didn't have anything, name writers, any of that. Like
how was she doing it?
Well, she had the inbound calls, but I guess it was.
But like in general, like how was she getting most of her business?
Referrals.
Really?
Like old people. Like who does that? And so
we do that now. Right,
now I just dance, put it on TikTok.
Well, finally, we had inbound calls coming in, and the phone would ring, and everybody would just like chase to the phone, and I wasn't learning anything, and honestly, I was really discouraged. I said, this is for the birds. I don't want to be a realtor. This is stupid. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't know anything. All I knew is that my buddy from real estate school, Trey, had invited me to the Maribel Reeb Christmas party. And so I go to this Christmas party, and there's like 50, 60 people and their spouses and their girlfriends, and everyone's just having a big old party, big old Christmas bash, and everyone's dancing. And I'm thinking, man, this is high energy. This is where it's at. I need to come here. And I was in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom washing my hands, and James is washing his hands next to me, and I got a little like starstruck.
So we won't know if they were actually taking a piss or
No,
washing
no,
their
no.
hands.
Washing my
'Cause
hands.
Like,
No,
I
no.
don't know about that.
No.
Like, that's gonna be out on the air.
Hey, buddy.
Contact came out.
I'm starstruck.
but
Are you?
but I remember asking him, I'm like, hey, can I come work with you? And he just looked at me like, yeah, whatever. Just get with Jerry, and that was it. So I made a decision.
What'd you tell your aunt?
That was the tough part. My aunt was mad.
My cousin wanted to kick she had her own company.
Oh yeah, it was Open House Realty. And I remember calling agents to go show properties and whatnot, and I'd say my name. Hey, this is Chris Montalvo with Open House Realty, and these condescending agents would say, Chris who? With who?
Never heard of her.
I've never. Yeah, it was bad. I hate it. I still dislike so many agents.
Okay, Aunt, we love you though. I know he loves you deep in the heart, right?
Fast forward.
Okay.
No. I have a question about that. So, did you ever actually close any properties in that brokerage?
Do you sell anything?
One deal.
Really?
Oh wow.
Out of how long?
It was a $300,000 deal. I thought I knocked it out of the park, but it was a referral. Yeah. The guy was just throwing me a bone.
So back then, you still made like the 3%, or was it more? Because I know we got adjusted. It was 3%.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So that has never changed.
No, it's down to 2.5.
It depends on the realtor.
No, but like it hasn't gone up. Like lenders, they used to make like freaking 7, 8%, whatever.
I think it all depends on the listing agent and on the property. There's sometimes like on smaller deals, the percentage could be higher.
I'll tell you
typically it's around there.
Y'all want to be in for a story. So now I'm at Maribel Reeb. I'm surrounded with really good, wise counsel. Everyone's just high energy, and they're getting deals and developers, and freaking. It was just out of control. It was nuts. And our broker Bob Morgan, the guy was like 90 years old, but he was like a stallion. This dude, I'll never forget. I was getting bullied by an agent in Alice, Texas, and I represented the buyer, and it was like a $130,000 deal. And once we came to an agreement, the agent said, "Oh, by the way, you're non-MLS, so we're going to pay you 1%. And I'm like, Bob, help. So I tell Bob the situation. I'm like, hey, this lady is like, she's depriving me of the 3%. I'm supposed to make 1%, or I'm supposed to make 3%. She's offering 1%. We're already under contract. What do I do? And Bob was like cool as a cucumber. He gets on the phone. He's like, hey, listen, this is Bob Morgan. I just want to let you know this isn't going to stand with us and our company, and I'll get my lawyers involved. And I don't know what she told him, but he just snapped and just started he was on a rampage, just screaming at her. And I'm like, damn, that's my broker. Like, he has my back, Sure enough, I got my 3%. That's funny because that agent's still around, and I've done multiple transactions with her, but she knows,
She wanted to take away your 2%.
She knows that I know, that I still remember. So long later, but
still thinking about it.
He's feeling it right now. He's feeling it.
So I don't do petty moves. Yeah, I'm not demeaning with other agents. There's a lot of incompetent people, but we all have to show grace and patience. but I'll tell you, it was bad. People were just. It's all about what's in it for me? What can you do for me? And, it's just, it's unreal. But anyway, I had some great mentors and partnered up with, some good people. And
so you were 18, 2 years later, you become broker.
Yes. But I started investing pretty heavily around that time. And a lot of really good mentors told me, look, you can look at things through the eyes of a realtor or through the eyes of an investor. Look at every single opportunity with a wide lens. And that's when I started realizing, well, shoot, I'm making these people, a killing on this particular house. Why don't I just buy it myself and do the same thing? And a lot of my mentors, they were all much older, and it steered me in the right direction. But started building portfolios for a lot of people, and started making people a lot of money from scratch, just the way I was taught. But I was taught in a weird way. It was more like I was just surrounded with a bunch of, drunk bankers and just investors that, would leak really valuable information. And I just ran with it.
So you help a lot of people become investors, like build a portfolio of like properties and
like right now with the subdivision, couldn't find any builders. So I said, to hell with it. I'll build builders. I'll make builders. And I've created builders that, were highly skilled, investors and are transitioning. Like at the end of the day, you got to shake the hell out of that bush and, make do with what you have, because no one feels sorry for us and everybody's rooting against us at the end of the day. And that goes for all of us.
You're talking brokers?
I'm talking everybody in
Like
life.
most people. Like our poster, what do we have in the office? The 2 posters. I'm sure you've seen it when you walk in. There's 2 of them.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, you have, yeah.
I mean, some people might care. Like Chris cares. Like, when
Well,
he
I
calls
mean,
me,
there's
care.
just a lot of people that they just want the pity of everybody. Like, oh, I haven't done this. Or,
Misery
I
loves
haven't
company,
done
yeah.
this. Well, like, how many calls have you made? I mean, at what time are you leaving the office? Like,
Yeah.
you
If
know,
you don't
I mean,
ask, you're not going to receive.
right.
And I was calling people that, I sold houses for as new construction, like I said, 19, 18, 17 years ago that I talked to in decades. And I'm like, hey, I know you're doing really, really well with commercial construction, but you want to pick up 10 lots and build some specs?
Oh.
Well, meet me out at the
I didn't think
subdivision.
about
You know what?
that.
Better yet, I'll pick you up. Let's go meet me at Home Depot.
Yeah.
And I was just very hands-on because I didn't have a choice. I had to roll up my sleeves and
So when did it become Mirabel? Because you said Mirabel and Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jerry
What
Reed.
year was that?
So here's my screw up. It was Maribel Reeb. That was 2004.
Yeah, I wasn't even here in Corpus yet.
They were approached by a GMAC franchise, so it became Maribel Reeb GMAC. And something had happened. My ego got the best of me. I was a broker, and I really wanted to be an owner of the company. And I bought 5% stake in the company, which was the biggest mistake, because when Jerry took off and left, James, holding,
The bag.
holding the bag, the recession hit. All the agents took off. GMAC was in a huge lawsuit with the company. I had no idea. Long and short, it cost me, I don't know, $5 or $10,000 just to clear my name off the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible. But I saw a company go from 50, 60 agents to literally like 7. And we lost our lease. We lost everything. And, I'd been investing pretty heavily. And I had a large portfolio with one of my business partners. And long and short, we would do cash out refis and pull out the equity. And so I had a pretty nice nest egg. But when the market fell, I bought all these houses, bundled them up, and I said, okay, I'm going to establish a refinance and a huge line of credit. But I couldn't finish the line of credit without the K1 for my tax return. So the long and short is we all hit rock bottom. I had all my cash out. I remember my assistant telling me, hey, you don't have to pay me this week if you can't afford it. I'm like, no, I'll pay you. But I literally had every penny I had out, tied up on these
Property. 5
houses I bought. Yeah, because I would buy them outright and then refi them. But long and short, I remember just being at James's duplex, and one of the I'll leave his name out, but one of the agents would just, this guy blow his nose. It was just nasty. We went from, being on top of the world to just scraping the bottom of the barrel. It was nuts. But I told myself I would never let the next company, we had just revamped Maribel Montalvo, and I said, I'll never let the company be as big as Maribel Reeb was, because at the end of the day, these agents have their own agenda. And we'll keep it boutique and bulk up on our staff and bulk up on building, certain mentors and certain, not mentors, but just certain people that want to learn from the ground up. I don't want anybody with bad habits coming in our door. And that's why we kept it boutique.
And then just kind of like learn like the bad,
Oh, yeah.
because you can't really reteach that.
Mm-mm.
Once somebody has their own ways, you can't really reteach all that.
Oh, I saw them all the time. They'd come in, they'd start throwing their weight around, they'd start demanding these crazy outlandish splits. Everybody wanted a 90-10. We're all in 80-20, and everybody would want these 90-10, 95-5, or I'm going to go to this brokerage and, hey, be my guest. There's brokers in town that would love to take them. I won't take them. And even today, like I don't ever poach other agents. I don't really care to. We don't make
How
our money off
many
them.
do you guys have right now?
Like 23?
Yeah, it's under 25.
Yeah.
25.
And that's,
Those are
and that's
pretty.
including James and Chris.
But we control the market share by leveraging other people's talents. And that's where the whole team thing comes into play for Gino. And he taught me that when he got in. And I was just stuck to my old ways. I didn't even have a schedule. Like I would just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. And I would leverage, on the foreclosures, I would leverage Michael. I would leverage very good, talented people, but I could never get to that next level. Even like when I was building houses, I would leverage, my foreman. I didn't realize it now, but yeah, I'd leverage my foreman. There's certain people you got to leverage in order to elevate yourself. But Gino just came in cool as a cucumber, and he just established the system and just built a team, and then he started rolling. So kudos to Gino.
Well, I think a lot of that, and here, like everything he just said and shared is like a cliff note of everything he's ever done.
Right.
And all the things he's capable of doing. And so when I came in, it really was like the fast track to here, learn from all of this and grow on it. And so I was able to see when I jumped in, like how stressed he was, how much he handled by himself. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle all that. Even knowing all that stuff, it still just doesn't seem time. Like there's not enough time to do all those things. There's just no possible way. And so a lot of it came from one, seeing the way he worked, two, the schedule I had. I was still working radio. I just had a kid, and I was just married. I was still trying to finish up school. It was like, how do I make do with the time that I do have? And that's why early on I started hiring people to help me do the things that I wasn't, one, capable of doing, or were time consuming, or it just wasn't income producing activities. Like this doesn't make me more money filling out paperwork, doing open houses, doing different things that's not growing the business. But yeah, Chris has done so much in real estate that when I jumped in, I'm like, all right, I want to do this, this, and that. Don't want to do that.
And then
but I want to
somebody
do this.
To do that.
Yeah.
So you guys, I've heard this story a lot of times, and I'm just like, oh wow, because you guys are cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't around when he started in
No,
the business.
I was. So I got a very, very late start in real estate compared to Chris.
Okay.
A lot of people were like, oh, y'all been doing it together forever. It's
Right.
like, well, for now we've been doing it quite a while, like 10 years. But before, he'd done it quite a while. I was jumping around. I was being cool on the radio. I was working over here at Best Buy, Driscoll, Whataburger headquarters, Caller Times. Like,
Oh,
I was just
wow.
hopping around.
Okay.
Anything with a computer, I was like, I'll go do that. I'll go do that. Because at the
Nerd.
time, because at the time, it was when computers and the internet and everything was kind of taking a different direction. I was very involved in that. And so I said, cool, I know how to do social media. I know how to do the web. I know how to build things. I know how to design
Do you know
things.
what design?
Because I used to
like,
do
really
stuff for him.
cool
So kind of,
logos?
so if you think about it, I'd been working with them for maybe 13 to 14 years. But for those 3 or 4 years that I wasn't licensed realtor, I was doing the design stuff, website, flyers,
So
magazines.
he was already helping you with all that.
Yeah, logos, business cards.
Okay.
I didn't know I did
Remember
all
the
that-
real
all
estate
that
book that
nerd
everybody
shit.
go look
Yes,
at when you see them
yes.
at the restaurants, designing ads in there whenever he did cash offer stuff. So anything design-wise, I was doing for him.
it. Oh,
But
okay.
I thought it was so awesome walking into their office and getting like a $300 check. I'm like, hell yeah, trying to get my check. They're like, they're all busy making deals on the phone. I don't even know what they're doing. I'm just happy to get my little
Trash
check.
cans on fire.
Chris is over there just freaking out. I'm like, cool, I got my check. See you later. And then it wasn't until, like I said, I got married, had a kid, went back to school.
What year was that?
2009
Nine? Yeah.
was when he told me. It took me like 2 years to get my license. Mostly because I just put it on the back burner. I wasn't
Right,
ready to
and
do
you
it.
were
Didn't
doing
want
other
to.
stuff.
I was doing other stuff. I didn't know the potential that real estate had. And so finally in 2000, what year are we? I don't even know.
2023.
2011.
So
Yes, 2011. 2011 is when finally we got married, had the baby, and I was like, all right, I need to do it. I need money. And so Chris is like, I've been telling you. So I finally did it. Me and my wife both got our license at the same time. She went a different direction, became an appraiser. I ended up doing stuff with Chris and really just kind of hit the ground running, literally jumping in the car, listening to the conversations, listening to the deals being made, listening to the
So
different
learning
things going
from
on.
him.
Yeah, learning
like
by
hands-on.
listening. Like literally,
Yeah.
not like we had class or, hey, do you know today we're
No,
going
yeah.
over this.
Yeah.
It was just being there,
I don't
being.
remember the last time we had a company meeting.
Yeah, it was just being a fly on the wall and soaking in all I could. Michael as well. Back then, Michael was a big help with like contracts and teaching me like the admin side of things, because Chris is not an admin person. I'm not an
bully
admin person
Michael
either.
a lot.
Yeah, and
Actually,
so
I
that was
bully
that was a
him.
big
Mike
help.
was an ace.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's like
He's-
so awesome. I bully him because I like when I met him, he was actually doing real estate.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's not. And he's like, am I going to get a cake for my birthday? I'm like, you're not a realtor. Like, why would I send you a cake for your birthday if you're not a realtor?
So that was, so speaking of Michael, so someone like him helped me out quite a bit. Even Melanie, who used to work with us, Chris' sister. Melanie. I was like, I need a Melanie. I need a Michael. And that's when I first started looking to hire somebody. And I just got really lucky right off the bat. That's when I found Jessica. Jessica came on and became all those things. So when I was on the air, she was handling different stuff while I was out
when
being goofy.
When did you stop being on the radio?
2017. So after like,
oh wow,
I gotta hand it to Gino, honestly.
Yeah. So after those it took me 4 years, and this is for a lot of realtors. Like, there's a lot of realtors that do part-time jobs.
They do,
and I'm like, do it until you feel comfortable, because it took me a while, even with the money that I was making in real estate, which was significantly more than radio. I still didn't want to leave that cushion of a salary job, health insurance.
I was actually very surprised when we did the loan for your friend at the radio. I mean, like, to see the salaries, I was like, oh wow.
It's not as much as we portray ourselves. More, yeah, right. It's kind of hard.
I got to hand it to him. He would wake up, butt crack of dawn. Now it's like no big deal. Like, we work out, and, we wake up and we give each other a hard time about, going to like F45 or whatever. But like back then, you'd wake up at 5 a.m., go to the radio, or 4 a.m. or whatever, go to the radio. Then you'd come to the office around 2 o'clock, and then he'd work, till God knows 5 o'clock. And then he'd go pick up the kids, and he would just do it all over again. And I just thought to myself, man, this guy's just slave driving himself.
Well, I think I was just hungry, and I knew the potential was there.
I mean, the motivation was
that if Chris can do it, he's dumb. I can do it. No, the motivation was Chris. Like, the motivation was having someone leading the way. If I didn't go to a brokerage that was like our brokerage, or if I didn't go to a brokerage that was my cousin, and it was just some random person who really doesn't care, not necessarily doesn't care.
It's not going to push you.
It's not going to push me as more, or be very honest with me. They'll just be like, hey, if you want to leave, leave. With us, it wasn't like, I'm not going nowhere. How do we do this? How do we continue to grow? And luckily, over the years, we've always pushed each other to do more. I remember being younger, hearing Chris's problems and going, I hope I never, ever have those problems, because I don't know what I'd do. And as time's gone on, I look back and go, oh, shit, I do have those problems now. And then new problems would come up. And as you reach new levels, it's like new problems. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Here I am again. He would tell me numbers that would make most people want to jump off the roof. Like, I remember the very first time he was like, yeah, I just got my tax bill, or I just got this, I got to pay this much to IRS. I'm like, what? Yeah. I was like, no, I would just give up. And now looking back, I'm like, oh wow, like, he was prepping me. He was prepping me for, hey, this is one day what's going to happen. And,
and now you're like thinking, this is how much I have to pay on taxes.
Yeah. Well, it's just part of the gig.
Yeah,
I guess.
Making money. So looking back, would you have stopped working at the radio earlier?
I think no. You ask a lot of people, like, would you go back and change stuff? I think the cliche answer is like, no, because it made me and it set me up exactly to where I am today. And I think we're both pretty happy where we are and what we're capable of doing, what we're able to do.
I wouldn't want to relive it.
I wouldn't want to relive it, but I definitely wanted to change it. Of course,
like, change some stuff. I mean, like, sometimes, like you say,
like,
for example,
I think that, Chris had an opportunity when he was younger and he didn't have kids and wasn't married to invest a lot more. When I started, I had the money to invest, but I was still like, hey, I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of my kids. I don't have that youth in me to go and say, just blow it all. Let's make it all again.
Right.
I'm tired. Like, I love real estate. It's a very enjoyable job. We get to solve a lot of problems, do a lot of different things, but at the same time, like anybody else, you get tired. It's kind of like, it's like you're constantly having to be this certain, what's the word? And your endurance has to keep up with, hey, this is the lifestyle you created for yourself. Here's what you have to do to keep it. And there's moments, that you're like, she's like, I don't want to.
And I think in our jobs, I just texted. I have one of the girls that work in my company. She's like super successful, closed a lot of loans and everything. And I was driving one time to the house, and you always have to kind of like almost pretend in front of people that you're happy, that you're like upgoing, I'm ready to work, and I like the next loan, and I'm so excited for you. But then, when do you actually get to be like, shit, like, I feel like I'm so tired, like, I don't want to.
When do I get to enjoy this? Yeah.
Right, like, I don't want to, like, do it. And I asked her, I said, do you ever feel like all these pretending, like, gets to you, and one moment you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody, I want to just hide, and I want to, like, cry, I want to, like, I mean, you get all these stress. And she was like, every day.
Yeah.
But you have to, like, just wake up and keep doing it.
You know what it is? And kind of going, so I read this post today, and it was a guy locally here from Corpus. His parents from Corpus. They were posting about their son who did the Boston Marathon, and this dude's super fit, hybrid athlete, like jacked, like really, really well in shape dude. And he had posted about how he was running the marathon, and kind of going into what you're saying, every mile he had to be disciplined to keep going, keep going, keep going. And even someone outside looking in, like, that dude's like Superman. How is he getting tired? How is he wanting to quit? And same thing with other people. Like, yeah, it's what makes us who we are, that you're disciplined to keep going and keep doing it. Even when you know, like, I just want to go home and just watch Netflix and do nothing. You have to keep going.
You reap what you sow.
Sure.
And if you sit on your ass and just wait for things to come to you,
they're not going to come.
It's not. Yeah. And, you got to turn it on. You are your own cheerleader. And, we all had to learn that the hard way, and even to this day, I mean, we all have, significant amounts of stress and, new levels that we're approaching. But at the end of the day, with clarity and just, just doing the right thing, being the absolute best version of yourself and just giving it your all, you'll feel fulfilled, and you can sleep with peace and have that peace of mind at the end of the day. And at night, you can cry yourself to sleep or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, at least you gave it your all, and then you keep doing that, and then God will just start opening up doors of opportunity.
And it pays off. I mean, you're just planting all the seeds to
I am not the smartest or the best broker or the best anything in town, but I'm pretty good at dabbling in every single facet. And I'd rather be 90% at every single facet of this industry than just have one specialty and just strive to be the absolute best
on one thing
broker. I mean, honestly, I don't even think I'm that great of a broker, but put me head to head with another broker, I'll dance around them. No issues. But that's not my goal. That's not the end purpose for me.
So what are your thoughts about all these new brokerages that, now I feel like I see a lot of, like, so you're a realtor, but you don't have your broker license.
No.
Okay. So I see a lot of realtors nowadays, like they start like, just like, okay, I'm going to be a broker. And then they go out and they outsource it and they open their own brokerage.
You have to feed off of the energy you surround yourself with. And a lot of people don't understand, and they take the easy route, with these brokerages that offer 100% finance, or excuse me, 100% of their commissions, etc. But they then take themselves out of that element of success, being surrounded with successful people and winners, and now they're at home behind their laptop because they don't have an office to go to. And yeah, they're supposed to be quote unquote making more money, but they're deprived of all their energy because they were feeding off of their broker's energy and the people around their subsidiaries' energy. With that gone, you're your own worst enemy. And that's why a lot of people end up either reverting back or just quitting and, doing their thing.
I agree with that. And going back to what I changed anything. So I'd be happy over and over and over again to pay the luxury tax, I want to call that, to be with a brokerage, to be surrounded by people who are doing the things that I've achieved or want to achieve to do, compared to, hey, I get 100% and I'm working from home, but there's no one around me that's a player. There's no ballers around me. There's nobody really doing big things because I'm by myself. So yeah, I have a little bit of extra money, like you said, but what do I do with it? I have no one to lead the way. You know what I mean? It's better to be on a bigger team, a better team, and everyone's a winner, compared to, hey, I'm going solo, but
and then you don't have anybody to
no one to tell you otherwise.
And I can honestly say that's why every single agent and everybody in our office, and even in other departments, other companies within our company, we elevate everybody to be the absolute best version of themselves, and we encourage everybody to be investors and to be uncomfortable and stretch out and do everything that's outside of the norm, because we aren't the norm. Do I think we're the best brokerage in town? I think we're pretty damn good, but we're running our race. I don't care what the other brokers and what the other agents in town are doing. I don't give a shit about TreePack. I don't care about any of the agents in town, what they do, how much they've sold, because at the end of the day, I know what we have sold, I know what we do, and I know our worth and our value. And
so you're competing within yourself, instead of competing against.
You know who I'm afraid of? I'm petrified of Chris Montalvo 2011. That son of a bitch was a bad dude. That guy was on fire. HUD account, HUD PEMCO had the biggest REO account, 70 disposition asset management companies in Houston and Corpus Christi and the surrounding areas at the age of 24. That's crazy. Like, that's just unheard of. But anyway, that's another story.
I think he's saying he's competing against himself.
Against
I'm only competing against myself.
Right.
I know the best version of myself, and I want to be that always. Not
right.
I want to be like so and so. Because
instead of competing on the outside. So okay, so let's switch a little bit on. Is it true? The whole, and I have seen all your all your advertisement and everything, like we buy houses for cash. How does that work? The Primos, what is it called, the company?
The property
Primos property. No, what is it?
It's Property Primos.
Property
the
Primos.
LLC,
Okay.
because someone else has
LLC,
that. So
okay.
it has poodle in front of it.
So we do buy everything. We buy everything. That
Cash.
makes sense. Yes, cash.
Okay. So you just go look at the house. Like if I tell you, like, hey, I want to buy.
Actually, sometimes we don't look at houses.
Oh, you just buy it.
Gino doesn't look at any house.
There's been quite a lot. I would say about 80% I don't see.
I want to ask about that picture that you put on Facebook where he's running out of the house.
Oh,
That's not real. No,
that's not
fake.
real.
We were really at a house. It was really a cash offer. But how boring is that? Why just go? We're at a cash offer. We're at a cash offer.
We know.
Sometimes it's just fun to have fun.
We know how to leverage the banks. We know how to, I was very blessed to be taught by a lot of high-level financial institutional people, top tier bankers that kind of taught the rope on how to play with your money and replenish your accounts and whatnot, so that we can buy in bulk, buy in the masses with an exit strategy at all times. So, being in construction and being a flipper and a builder and all that stuff, Gino and I both have just, everything's a numbers game, and that's why we stopped walking into these houses. For one, we were tired of getting fleas caked on us, but two, it's just a numbers game. We're experts in this business, and we know the ARV, we know what it's going to cost to rehab. We know the numbers, so why do we have to walk this house?
I think real estate's one of those odd businesses, markets, unlike the stock market, unlike other markets which have a lot of variables that play into it, like the government plays into different things, and then this business drops 15 points. With real estate, it's a steady climb all the time. That's just the world we live in, because there's only so much land, there's only so much real estate. It's steadily climbing all the time. Yes, it has little hiccups, but it's always going a certain direction. So that's why
ad valorem taxes right now.
Yeah,
like that's a hiccup, but we're gonna buy them.
Yeah,
get
so
them
we
down.
it always goes.
But I mean, it's true. Real estate is the only investment that there's always a return.
Yeah.
In it,
Exactly.
whichever way you're gonna see it. Right.
You just have to figure out.
Everybody thought I was just nuts buying in the recession. I was the only person that was just buying everything and anything. I didn't care what my interest rate was. I just wanted to own. And fast forward, those same people are, big dogs at the banks and just in general very successful. But their biggest regret was, I should have bought when you were buying. And so, you can't be scared. You really just have to. You have to stay on your course and really just do what everybody else isn't doing, and you do that just like right now. Like it's a weird time, but I think it's a huge time for opportunity. And you think I want to go back to, messing with construction and building and all that? No, absolutely not. But hey, at the end of the day, the tides shift, and sometimes certain wells dry up, and you got to shift gears and get to a new well.
That was one of the things when I very first started that Chris would tell me, like, hey, this is the market changes, you have to adjust that market. And for a lot of people that maybe got their license the last couple of years, they've seen the market a certain way, and now it's shifted, and they're like, what do I do? And I think a lot of people that haven't gone up and down markets they don't know what to do. They have no idea. They're not prepared. And so I feel like even when the market was bad, I was always preparing for it. I'm sorry. Even though the market, and that's not bad, even though the market isn't what it was a couple of years ago, I've always been prepared for, no matter what the market is, I got to go this direction, or I got to go this direction. I got to create the business. I got to create the demand. I got to create opportunities, which is part of being a really great real estate investor, is to find the deals, find the opportunities, connect the dots for whoever's looking to do something. When a lot of people are like, wait a minute, like this isn't how I learned. This isn't what I was used to. This is not what I expected.
Well, because everybody got their license back in 2020 when, you could get out of the house and somebody would tell you, sell me a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, right now it's not happening like
Yeah,
that.
but it's
so if you don't
also,
have the
you know, it's
leverage to
relation.
actually do it.
Real estate's a long game. Like the stuff that I'm doing now, the stuff that Chris is able to do now, wasn't because of something he did yesterday. It's based off
No.
relationships and deals and knowledge that we gained over the last decade and decades of
Well, I
doing
mean, and
things.
you've been in the business for what, 19 years?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the other part. I've seen it with like loan officers. I mean, they see me get to the office at 9 o'clock, leave sometimes at 4 o'clock, you know, and then they want to come in and start in the business and be like 11 to 3. I'm like, you're not gonna make it. I'm like, I start working 7 to 7. Like, I mean, it's like you have to put the time in.
Well, like Chris said, we've both put in those years where we were at work every single day, all day. And yeah, we've had times where we get to enjoy a little bit, but then we're not scared to go, hey, we got to stay up all night. Hey, we got to figure this out. We got to find some deals.
Well, the thing is, like, that's the thing. I mean, you put the work, and now 19 years later, it looks easy.
Oh, sure.
What he does. But you don't see the whole work that it was done for 19 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't get here overnight, right?
No, I wish. You know, it's funny. A lot of people don't really know my story, but you know, I'll never forget. I had a really good mentor. He was like a brother to me. I was very insecure early on when I was 18, 19, 20, you know, because I didn't finish college, and I dropped out my junior year, and the only thing anybody had on me was, oh, why didn't you finish college, and when are you going to go back to college? It was just kind of a nag. And the best advice he ever gave me was, Chris, you're not comfortable in your own skin. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're not comfortable in your own skin. You're insecure. When someone brings up college, you blab out of your mouth how much property you own and how much money you have. Like, that's stupid. You sound like an idiot. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And from that day forward, I just stopped caring about what people said about me. I stopped caring about rumors. I stopped caring about everybody and anybody's opinion of me because it's none of my business. And from that day forward, I just catapulted to a completely different level. And to this day, I'm very under the radar for a reason. Like, I honestly don't give two damns what anybody thinks of me. I'm focused on my race and only my race. And I'm going to bring up my sphere of influences and the people, my circle. I'm going to lift them up with me, and we're all going to excel. And let everybody else imagine and try to figure out what we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's their opinion of us is none of my business.
You know, that is very funny that you said that. You know, I didn't finish school either. I didn't finish college.
Yeah, but how many people have asked you? Like,
well, I mean, it's something that has bothered me for a long time. Like, I literally bother. Like, it was not until, because I went to Del Mar, so I'm from Mexico, and then I finished some
Del
of
Mar.
the
It's
years
hard college.
in school in Mexico.
And
when I came back, I couldn't bring all the credits. I had to start all over again. And I remember one time I had to turn in a homework, and I had a closing. So I had to go to a closing, and then I went to turn in the homework, and the teacher was a bitch. And I was like, I remember I got so pissed because I'm like, okay, I'm already making this much. Like, like why am I even like begging for her to take my homework? And I quit. I was just like, forget it. I'm not gonna do it. But it bothered me a lot. I mean, until like literally recently, Andrea, my oldest one, she was like, Mom, like, really? You're very successful. Like, why does it matter if you have a college
nowadays
degree or not?
A lot of people look at college, or a lot of people look at people that are successful, and a lot of people are known to be successful that didn't go to college. But I think there was a few decades where it was just society telling everyone you have to go to college to be successful. That's what you have to do. Yeah. That was pre-internet, pre-social media, knowing everybody's business. Now you're like, wait a minute, like, do I? And for some people, it's great. It gives them but
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Here's the cliffhanger. You look at Gino with his arm sleeves of tattoos, and you would think out of all of us, he didn't go to college. But he's the guy with a bachelor's in marketing.
He's the one that, I mean, it does bother. I mean, I feel you. When you were saying that, I'm like, yeah, I felt like that a lot of times. Like, I mean, I think I recently, when I heard it from my own daughter, I was like, crap, like maybe she's right, you know? I mean,
you know, I kid you not, like after I was comfortable in my own skin and I started taking over those foreclosure accounts, I was doing mega multi-million-dollar deals in Houston and Corpus. And I was just thinking to myself, you know, all these intellects, you know, whether they're, doctors, lawyers, whatever, all these high level intellects were asking me for my opinion and my advice because I had control over the deal. I had control over their pockets, and it wasn't even a power trip. It was just more so like, hey, all that was irrelevant. What's relevant right now is what can I do for them, and that is why I had importance, and that's really why I had substance with any of my clients. They honestly, I don't think my clients care too much about me. They love me when I make them money.
Yeah.
Right.
And
degree or no degree.
Everybody will love you if you can do something for them,
For them.
that benefits them, because everybody is all about everybody.
So
They're
what
about
advice would you give the real estate agents right now? I know you said you
Stop
hate
posting
them,
selfies. No one cares.
Like for the market, the hard market.
For the hard market,
Stop posting about your closings.
I would
No one
say like what Chris said and what we talked about. Learn all facets of the market: investing, wholesaling, real estate,
Things,
retail, flipping, buying, selling, creative financing. There's so many different opportunities to make money in real estate that it's not all about the open houses. Not all about the
open houses actually has started working again.
I have seen people do that. What I'm saying is, for the realtor that doesn't know what to do, try to find your
Other
niche.
niches,
Try to
right.
find something else you can do to supplement your income until maybe it goes back to a regular market that you're used to and that's what you want to do. But if not, I think a lot of people will find they might enjoy another avenue better.
Right.
Oh, when I was 18, I was bartending on the weekends and doing real estate, and I would sell houses, and my clients would come into the bar, and I'd get them all loaded up. Like, I didn't full on transition full real estate until probably 6 months in, and I just knew better. Like, I hate it when new investors, I'll make them, a quick 40 grand on a flip, and then they quit their day job. It's like, what are you doing? Like this is one well. Like, if this
One
dries
deal.
up, you
Don't
don't have
stop
anything to fall
that.
back on. Yeah.
It took me a little bit to finally start investing. When Chris would tell me you should start investing, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. There was a point where I would bring him deals and he would pay me a commission. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm happy with my couple grand. It wasn't until finally it took me a few times of him asking me, do you want to buy this one with me? And I'm like, And then when I got to a point where I said, yeah, I got an extra whatever, let's do it. And so that's when we started buying houses together, is because he told me, like he said, hey, you need to start investing and you need to start thinking like an investor. And I think being an investor in the real estate market and as a realtor and doing what we do with residential, I'm able to let clients know, like, I know what it feels like to sell and buy properties. I know what it feels like to have a certain amount of money in my account that I've never been used to. What do I do with this? How do I be smart? What do I do on the next one? And
How do you make it work for you?
And so I think for me, having Chris teach me all those things has taught me, even though he doesn't know retail or residential stuff, it's taught me as a residential realtor, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing when I'm telling you, hey, this is the best move. And I can look at it as not just your realtor who doesn't know what they're doing. I know exactly what it feels like. I know exactly what's going to happen next.
You guys just gave me an idea, and I think we need to do a class for investors. How to invest in real estate, like actually how to build a portfolio.
For realtors or for buyers?
No, for buyers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, because there's a lot of people that are looking into like investment, especially right now when you can sell your house, make 100,000. Like, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm gonna go and put everything on another house. I'm like, no, dude, like just put the minimum that you have to put and invest the next the other amount.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people right now that are really considering selling, even though they bought a beautiful house or they love their house,
with a really good rate.
But a really good rate, because, hey, is this the springboard I need to have 6 figures that I can go do a few other things with and restart not my life, but restart my investment life or my world, and not just be like the older generations who are like, no, how about I just stay here forever?
Yeah.
Keep working my job.
Never
see that equity or never do anything with it. Because the only reason like we are now is because whatever those first houses were, we use those to get to the next level, the next level, the next level, the next level.
Well, and then there's so many ways to buy investment properties nowadays with so many different type of loans. Like you were saying, I mean, they're coming up because that's where
Creative
the investment
financing.
is
Yeah,
going.
that's what banks do.
Like, I mean, there's just a lot of different ways. I mean, I didn't know that we could do that DSCR loan literally with a lease agreement. You're approved.
Wow.
That's nice.
I mean, it's super easy. And then you can do the investment.
But
you do need 20%.
It all boils back down to, if you don't ask,
you don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. And people just assume you just want to just share all this knowledge. Like, how am I supposed to know? I'm not a mind reader. Like, everybody, it seems, I don't know, lately I've noticed people are afraid to ask.
Yeah.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I think it's not that they're afraid of ask, they're afraid of the answer.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that don't like to share.
Deep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Sure.
a lot of people that they don't like to share, like, how to do it. Like, how do you do it?
Investors were like that.
They're like,
early on.
I'm not going to tell you. Like, I own 10 houses, but I'm going to tell you how I started owning one.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a bunch of investors like that in my career, growing, like, the early part of my career.
Yeah.
They kept it a big secret, and I'm like, man, you're like 90, bro. Like,
yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of property. I mean, it's not like there's not enough for everybody. It's not like you're going to share and then all of a sudden you're not going to have what to buy. But I think that would be a good class to do, like a class for like how to start your rental portfolio or something like that for like actually buyers that want to do that. There's
too much opportunity out there. And, a lot of people take that for granted. They think, oh, well, I'm too late into the game. I should have done it when I was younger. I should have done it. There was a sermon about it recently. Same thing, same concept. Like you can't. You need to forget what everybody else is doing and stay in your lane and just one deal at a time.
So, what do you guys do for fun?
Work out
together,
gamble, all together. Work
gamble?
out, gamble,
Sports
eat,
gamble.
travel.
Sports gamble. We got on this workout kick that's been really
last year I think we finally changed quite a bit in our physical, because I was on a mission to lose weight. Chris was always there for me working out, but we weren't really taking it serious. It was kind of just like, hey, let's just go shoot around, play basketball.
Now I see you guys
and
all
now
the time.
We're really pushing each other, and it helps. It helps with stress. It helps with just our well-being, our relationships.
Like honestly, I had a break-in on one of my flips earlier, and they stole a $2,500 cooktop.
You just shrugged it off. You're like, whatever. Old Chris be like throwing bottles and stuff.
Oh yeah. And I was thinking to myself, like, I was praying, and honestly, I said, God, I hope that crackhead breaks his fingers and has a miserable fall, and glass breaks and shars his eyes.
Whoa.
and then I felt better, and
after you prayed that.
I love it,
After I imagined this scene from Saul, I felt better.
But you know what? Life hits you, and you just take the punches, keep moving.
So gambling and sports.
Sports gambling.
Well, we like traveling. We haven't traveled in a while, but we enjoy traveling.
Yeah. We've traveled a lot.
Just don't go to Australia again.
No.
Yeah, right. We haven't traveled in a while though.
Well, we have to fix that, but
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you.
No,
my podcast, my episodes never go past like 30 minutes.
I mean, we're pretty
awesome.
awesome.
Being here an hour, so
damn,
you guys
watch
have
out.
a lot of an hour. Yeah.
All right.
So I really appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna take you up on that. We should do that class.
Yeah.
I think people need to know more about how to.
Well,
start
like Chris
that
said, there's not
portfolio.
really a course for that. There's not really a source, and so it's we're
just like
open
to
books.
share,
Start
right?
with a question,
just
right?
to share,
And then just boom.
And then you just go from there. Okay, well, thank you so much for
Right.
Thank you.
being here. Not having.